Yo, silly here. Partial face reveal. I have a mask on because I'm not really comfortable with like showing my entire face. Peek the shirt, peek the stickers. Nice to meet you. Anyway, yeah, I have some news to share. The reason I have to make this fast is because, well, first of all, recording takes up a lot of space, especially when I'm using my camera like this. It takes up a lot of space, and also y'all don't want to hear me rant for an hour, so I'm gonna make this quick. See, I become dissatisfied with the Sekai community, so I made a Music 5 rewrite. Well, I ate just before recording this. This is gonna take longer than I thought. I made a Music 5 rewrite, made Kanade and Mafia into it because I don't like how they were excluded in favor of supporting Mizuena. I suppose they didn't just do it for Mizuena, but I suppose but they still could have been there regardless. It wasn't fair how the burden was just placed on Anna. I've also tried to work on like I've also tried to work on something like, I tried to work on like a fan-made video of DNA, you know, the commission song for Kana 5. I try to make a video for that, try to make it look like a video game because, you know, the first notes of the song, and Kanade's commissions usually always have that video gamey vibe. So I wanted to put that, I wanted to put that vibe into a video. And I gotta say, I done a very good job at like making the pixelated graphics. It's my first time doing it actually. Can't wait to show you guys when I edit this video. I stopped working on that because well, here are the big news. I am not engaging in Project Sekai anymore. I just don't want to do it. I can't. I gotta eventually stop recording because I'm running out of time here. You know what? I should have done this way earlier because now I'm not engaging in Project Sekai anymore. It's honestly causing like too much stress for me, which I will touch upon later. See, I actually wrote it down this time. I'm gonna read this as fast as possible. And I'm actually gonna stop early as well. But I'm not making any content. The only exception is probably gonna be the negated voice. But even then, Coco and I agreed to like put that on hiatus for a little while. So yeah, it's been a month since I quit actually because here's the thing, bro. I was literally because like maybe this was a mistake on my part. It was a mistake on my part because like I know how this fandom gets, and yet I tried to speak my opinion anyway. But when I saw like how disappointed I was with Kana 6, like I was not pleased when I saw that when I saw Luca just straight up give Kanade an existential crisis and walk away. Like, dude, nobody had whatever. I'm not gonna get like too emotional about it, but like I was literally attacked by the comment section, all because I said that I wish people were nicer towards Kanade. They're nicer to Mafia, but not Kanade, and Kanade is always the one being undermined and stuff like that. I know I'm not the only one who notices it, and Kanade herself doesn't really like. I guess she can't afford to be offended because like she already thinks less of herself anyway. But it's just mean how they keep treating her like this. Like, the point is, Kana 6 could have been better, and Mizuki and Enna weren't really helping either. They're just like, even though they were there when Luca asked the question, "What are you gonna do after you save Mafia?" Even though they were there, like they literally just like, and Kanade was literally having a panic attack. By the way, they literally just gave her like a freaking They literally just like, I don't know, I guess called her and stuff like that to say, hey, we know how to save Mafia. I'm like, you're literally not helping your case. You were there when Luca asked her that question. Kaede clearly didn't know how to respond. Like, bro, you couldn't confront her about it at all. You know, I guess there's only so much you can do as a friend who's like, they still could have helped regardless, or at least brought it up. Even if they couldn't do anything to help Kaede figure out her own future, they could have at least brought it up and tried to help her, like, maybe think about herself for once. But, like, dude, it's just insane. But they padded the runtime by having Ena and Mizuki be like, oh, I feel like the only way you can help Mafu is if you just leave it alone, because it's the same thing with me, and how Mizuki ran away from Night Court that one time. And it was like I was just so desperate on helping Mizuki that I just wanted to confront them right away, and I just wanted to help them more than anything else, even though I should have just given them space and given them time to process, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, the situation is fixed, isn't it? Like, that's not relevant anymore. Like, you could have just said, I think it's best if you just give Mafu some space, cause, like, just don't jump into things right away. Yeah, like, you know, stuff like that. That kind of ticked me off. I said it in the comment section, and people were just saying, like, I just won't even. I won't. I was going to engage further, but I told them to stop, which is basically just, like, which I learned was a mistake, by the way, because, like, I'm just letting the people know that what they're saying is bothering me, but obviously they just kept going. I just deleted my comment. I'm not mad at them, though. I'm mad at, like, which I will explain later, but I can't right now. By the way, real quick, I just want to let you guys know to, like, please respect my opinion. It's, like, you know, as my viewers, that's the least you can do is, like, respect my opinion. If you don't like my opinion, then please don't attack me in the comment section, but, I know I can't change y'all's opinions or change people's minds, but, or, like, and it may be wrong of me to, like, demand respect or something like, and stuff like that. That's the most I ask, is just to respect my opinion and not attack me, alright? Okay, thank you. Okay, y'all, so it definitely might look like it, but, it's actually the next day. Well, honestly, the next night. Like I said, I couldn't really record all of it in one day, because I was running out of time, yeah, but yeah, let's get started, now shall we? We gotta look over to my page here. Wait, where was I the last time I spoke? You know, never mind, it doesn't matter. The point is, I was going to read this, alright? So, I already have, like, a big reason why I'm leaving this community, alright? So I wrote down, it all started in September of 2020, when Project Sekai was announced. Advertisements were everywhere. As soon as I saw Hatsune Miku with a bunch of human characters I'd never seen before, I was disgusted. Now I was 13 years old, so I was petty as heck, so my first thought when I took one look at this, and I was like, these characters are probably going to take the spotlight away from Miku. But with that in mind, I just ignored the game's rising popularity, or I tried to. But the game seemed to follow me everywhere. It was literally just like, it was literally just its way of saying, oh hey, you like Hatsune Miku, then you'll like this game. And I just didn't want to look at it. But yeah, videos would pop up, people on social media would be talking endlessly about it. There were Vocaloid themed Discord servers now changing their themes to that of Sekai's. Sekai songs I didn't know were Sekai songs began filling my feed. Figurines and plushies were already being sold. Fan art was already being made, and even people at my school began playing it when the game globally released. Eventually, I just wanted to see what all the fuss was about, and I checked out a few videos and a few streams, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Miku does get a ton of focus. I mean, it is her game, right? And when I was able, I downloaded that game right after making a Google account. I got my new phone, which is the phone that I'm recording with right now, when I was 16 years old, and that game was like the first game I made after making a Google account. But yeah, you know, I played it. I actually had a good time. The gameplay was better than D4DJs and Bandori's, which are two other games that I had a lot of history with. But I couldn't download the game before because with the phone I had previously, it was too much of an old model to get Project Sekai, so I had to wait until I got an upgrade. But yeah, the story had an interesting concept, and at first I feel like I could call it a Miku game, but then I got more and more into the story. Now at first, I thought Miku and the others were using the human characters for songs and stuff. I've waited for that twist. It was that very theory that led Coco and I to create the negated voice, because we thought we predicted the game. And though I was relieved that Miku and the others seemed to genuinely care about them, like, as the story went on, I guess they began to genuinely, like, care and stuff like that. Seeing them as good people actually gave me a breath of fresh air, because, like, I had, like, a huge history of Vocaloid songs where, like, Miku and the others were not good people, like, and stuff like that. I knew it wasn't canon, but, like, the fact that they were just being depicted that way. But still, despite all of this about Sekai and how different it was, there was something up. I noticed that Miku and the others weren't on screen for as long as I had hoped. As a matter of fact, my thoughts were always, where's Miku? How come I barely see her? She's the one I downloaded the game for. But it was like the game wanted you to forget about her. Like she was just barely on screen. Well, that, or they wanted you to focus on the human characters instead. But I kept looking for any meaningful Vocaloid content, anything about this game that told me that the Vocaloids mattered. Gameplay doesn't count. But all the Vocaloids' dialogue, internal and external, all of their actions, all of their feelings and worries, all seem to have something to do with the human characters. I understood that the Vocaloids have no canon personality, and I felt stupid to expect otherwise. But if their only purpose is to guide the humans in their journey, like, if the true stars of the game are the Sekai characters, then why is it called a Miku game? Like, why is her name in the title? Why does the description say Miku's latest game? I don't understand. Now, this discovery obviously pissed me off, and I realized I was right about this game all along. I was scammed. And to rub salt in the wound, I recalled a video I watched titled, Is Project Eva Dead? And I saw several posts and, like, a lot of stuff on social media, as well as, like, a new article that was sourced by another YouTube video. They were all saying the same thing. They were all saying stuff like, Sega does not care about this franchise anymore. Sekai is successful, and because of this, Sega will be shifting their focus entirely to Sekai, thus ditching Diva for good. But I still didn't know, or rather, I didn't want to believe that this was permanent. I still had faith that Diva would come back one day. Maybe they're just getting prepared and will come back with a banger just like Sonic did. And besides, maybe if I ignore the Vocaloids and actually pay attention to the original characters until then, I might even enjoy this game. I don't know why I would decide to stick with it, but you know what? I enjoyed N25's story specifically, found it very compelling and very entertaining. There were flaws, but I ignored it. That was until I saw too many inconsistencies, too many flaws, too many things I found unnecessary and unfair, until I was infuriated. I saw that the writers of the series wanted to do anything to hype up the fans and keep them engaged. When characters' personal stories and main conflicts started to end, and there was either nothing left to do, or when there was one character left, they introduce a new conflict and keep dragging out the game for, as planned, years on end. And as the story progresses, character traits get butchered for the sake of maintaining some kind of status quo or fandom shared fantasies like ships or even theories, mainly ships. If you want a character to have a satisfying climax or direct growth or even their own arc where the other characters who have already been processed and met their conclusion or are in a much better spot now in general actually spend at least one event each to help the static character. We want character development, and there's no reason why we must wait a year or so for our favorite character to have the focus we feel they deserve. At the very least, they tease that kind of stuff, make it underdeveloped or unnecessary or out of the blue or mostly filler, it just feels like a waste. When it comes to games like this or something, you are literally spending years of your life waiting for a story. You are literally betting your life. And half the time, or if you're unlucky like me, it's not worth the wait. These people are already greedy as hell. The first thing on their mind is money, and to me, it's a trap. I already think gambling is risky as heck. I don't plan on doing it when I get older, and I'm not on board with exchanging years of my life for a story that's not even worth my time. Like, if I'm not on board with exchanging money for more money and possibly ending up being broke, I'm not gonna do this. I'm all for long-running franchises, but when it's stuff like this, no. It's not for me. Those of you who are willing to stick by for so long, I respect you. You're a bunch of strong individuals. And for those of you who are still waiting willingly, then good luck. But I already despise how I was dragged into this in the first place. I was baited by Miku's name and face, and I was already pulled in by another source before I even found it in me to back out when I saw nothing for Miku herself. I wanted a Miku game. That was why I downloaded this game in the first place. If you wanted to introduce Vocaloid to another generation, you didn't have to do this. You didn't have to promise a Miku game and then just have her and the others be there for the sake of being there. And here's the thing, people might say, but there are hundreds of Vocaloid songs in the game. You're right, and they should have kept it that way. They just should have kept it like a mobile rhythm game, dedicated to the Vocaloids only, with like a little more stuff to make it more varied, and called it a day. They didn't have to make it a gacha game with 20 other characters who seem to have more relevance than the one who literally has her name in the title of this game. And you could tell me to ignore the stories, but it's impossible. They only tease them well enough to get you to read them, because if you do, you not only get hooked, but you're rewarded. You're more likely to actually like become more like much more like a skilled player than if you don't read the stories, because like it helps you like progress and stuff like that. Like, for example, song cards and crystals. Like there's literally like this gimmick in the game where like if you read every single story to its entirety, no skip button, no fast forward, no nothing, you get like an additional 50 crystals. And yeah, and the main stories themselves, they just pay you. They give you those crystals to help you pull for cards that'll help you during gameplay, so you can't escape. Shout out to those who love the game, though. I'm not mad at you. Nor am I mad at those who found Vocaloid because of this game, because it did do a good job at promoting Vocaloid songs. However, although the game was meant to promote Vocaloid in a way, it made things worse. Fans both old and new have ended up focusing more on the Sekai characters and the Vocaloids themselves because they ended up being more interesting. And therefore, Sekai went from promoting Vocaloid to just carrying it. Let me explain. I may be the only one who thinks that most Vocaloid songs that come out nowadays just feel forced. Teto has been out for a while, but she's become more popular than ever since her synth V was created, and she's even surpassing Miku. So it feels like most producers are either using Teto or they just feel obligated to use Miku, because it's quite detrimental to accept the fact that your main Vocaloid is being outsold. So they try to shove Miku into all of these collaborations. I'm talking Fortnite, McDonald's, Honkai Star Rail, and even Sonic. There have been a lot lately, and it just goes to show how desperate they're being right now. And for the most part, it worked. The song Michi M made for Hoyoverse X Miku was actually pretty good, you know, yeah, stuff like that. I heard that song once and it's been stuck in my head. Now, some of the Pokemon X Miku songs were good, especially Getcha. Shout out to Coco for sending me that song. A few of the Sonic X Miku songs were good as well. And I'm actually happy that I heard that Sonic didn't really get a positive reputation in Japan, and his collaborations with Miku actually helped him achieve that. He is loved in Japan now, and I'm happy for him, you know? And when it comes to Project Sekai, the producers just go all out. And then you have the normal Vocaloid songs outside of Teto and all that, and it feels like the producers just don't care anymore. At least most of them don't, and I knew that. I loved Sonic ever since I was a toddler. There you go. Gotta make it a little bit lower. There you go. I love Sonic ever since I was a toddler. So seeing him collab with Miku should have made me happy. But I didn't feel anything. All right, I felt nothing because I knew that nowadays, as a consequence of it just not being relevant for so long, ever since Diva was abandoned, Vocaloid is just nothing without its partnerships. They had the ideas, but they got rid of every last one of them. let me demonstrate. In like 2021 or 2022, an animated series for Hatsune Miku was announced. Now, due to the lack of proof or like any kind of additional info, and because I never really heard about this from anybody else, I thought that the guy who made the video was just spreading a rumor. But I wanted to believe it, so I was excited. And someone in the comments of the videos said this could go one of two ways. Either one, a series based off of various Vocaloid songs, or a slice of life with Miku and friends. I was hoping for the second option, mainly because Protodiva kind of teased us, and I also just like that idea of Miku and the others being humans in general. Having unique characterizations of their own, having a chance of being voiced by Saki and the others again. Now, one day I came back to that video. I was wondering whatever happened to that anime that was released. After I went to go back and check. Again, I didn't hear about it from like anybody else except for the one guy who uploaded it. So I went back to that comment section and went to the newest ones, and it was canceled. So it wasn't a rumor. It was real. It just didn't happen. Now that I think about it, an animated series or like a cartoon or like anything, like even if it was 3D or something, it would have been a great way to introduce Vocaloid to a newer generation. Much like how the Sonic and Mario movies were meant to be some sort of, they were meant to be like somewhat lore accurate, so the old fans know what's going on, but also so the younger fans can understand. An animated series of Vocaloid could promote the franchise with lore of its own, maybe along with a disclaimer that the following show is not accurate to the official media, or it could be. Who knows? Considering that you, as a viewer, a user can do anything you want with Vocaloid. A simple series, even if it's a mini-series like Fuji Sekai, which I don't think anybody remembers, that would work. It even get Vocaloid producers to create commissions, to create commission songs and stuff like that, like how they did for Sekai. Now, it was the very rule of the freedom of Vocaloid that led me to try and make a Vocaloid series of my own. But hey, you know what? Miku got an animated series she got like an animated movie to take its place. We could finally call her an anime character now that she's got her own movie. Surely the franchise is safe now. Surely the mastermind has finally listened to us. Well, see, first of all, it's a PJ Sekai movie, not a Miku movie, because Miku just can't make money on her own anymore. So already we're off to a bad start. Oh wait, maybe not. Instead of Miku helping the Sekai characters, they have to help her. What's this? Miku's in danger? It's a different Miku, which I'll touch upon in a bit, but she still needs help nonetheless, so surely this will go well. The trailers and posters made the stakes extremely high, with Miku appearing useless, negated, and even dead. I thought the movie was going to be a reference to the irrelevance of Vocaloid, a topic most older songs covered. I mean, seriously, just look at this. Just look at this poster and just tell me that they just don't see the vibe. That's the very thing that older Vocaloid songs cover. That Miku is no longer needed nor wanted, so she's not really used. In a way, it'd be why she keeps saying my voice can never reach them, because she had allegedly failed her purpose. The first three trailers especially had dramatized the heck out of this movie, specifically the third one, and I thought that after seeing this, I was like, yep, this is what Vocaloid needs right now. Holy crap. Honestly, bro, it shocked me. That trailer actually shocked me. I didn't think much of the movie before, but like, with that third trailer, dude, I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be a great movie. Even with the Sekai characters, it would work. But I still had doubts. I said to myself, I already know how the movie's going to go. You know all those songs that were released for the movie, for each group? Miku's going to be in danger, right? She's going to go to each Sekai group, one by one, asking them to tell her how to sing. The Sekai characters would sing the group songs made for them. Miku would eventually die for some reason. And the Sekai characters, all 20 of them, would sing Gunjo's song to bring her back. Roll credits, end of story. Yeah, I was skeptical and I was also a bit petty. And and I really thought I predicted it too. Like the 5 extra teasers for each Sekai group kind of gave me that hint. So that was what I thought. Off topic, but I remember getting insanely excited when I found out about the movie's English release. It came almost 3 months after the original Japanese movie dropped. I thought they finally found English VAs for all the characters. I thought that Miki was finally going to be voiced again, even if it's going to be someone different. But then Coco told me that they just added English subtitles, which is something that a typical Sekai fan could literally just do in less than 24 hours. Now, of course, I began beating myself up. I was like, of course, why would they get VAs for Vocaloid? It's been almost 20 years. They never had an English voice since. And yeah, I was kind of let down. I was like, but like there was always that thing in my head that was like, hey, D4DJ and Bandori, they also had anime adaptations, and those were put in English. But it's different with Vocaloid, so I should have known either way. And then finally, in July of 2025, a friend of Coco's got their hands on footage taken from a movie theater, and in a call, Coco and I watched the movie together. Now, before watching this movie, I've seen reviews of it. People loved it, they called it a love letter. It even got like a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I thought it was gonna be good. However, I also saw the ratings of the movie before it was released in America. A 6 out of 10. That was the score Japan gave it. So they didn't really like it. They thought it was mid. So I didn't really know what to believe, but eventually I came to the conclusion I'll watch it myself and see what I think. Though for some reason I was so excited. I couldn't wait to get started. I came in with a positive mindset. A few seconds in, the theme song for the movie Hello Sekai played. It was just the opening, but I just said, okay, tuning isn't bad, because I was trying to be optimistic here. I didn't really think much of the first few minutes, but I was expecting a stronger opening. I was expecting a strong start with the same vibe as, say, the trailers. Maybe they could have shown Miku Sekai actually falling apart, and the next scene would then transition into her navigating the screens and electricity of the real world. But it just begins with her running across screen after screen, and people can see her, by the way. Some kid was like, "Oh hey, look, it's Miku. Is this a collaboration?" Which I'm not gonna lie, guys, that is literally like the most dude. That is literally like the most accurate. That's literally like the most accurate take on modern Vocaloid I've seen. It's like, alright, I'm gonna do Statue style. Okay, listen carefully, listen closely. Like, did I get a Miku sticker? Put it on object. Congratulations, you now have a Miku collaboration. And Miku was just standing there, appearing across devices. Nothing was really happening. But that's when Leonid shows up, right? They have their usual chemistry. In fact, it just shows them and the other groups in their day-to-day lives. But there's just so much screen time spent on that alone that it just, like, all this before they even meet this new Miku, before the plot even progresses. I mean, it's a 2-hour film, but still. And phew, this is where it gets messy. First of all, what the heck is N25's dialogue, and BDS's as well? My script says insert reactions to their dialogue. I'm not even gonna look at this, I'm just gonna tell y'all. So, first of all, the scene after Leonid was when we check in with N25, cause like, and then like, and here's the thing, bro. The scene starts with Kanade being hungry, right? I mean, well, it starts with her composing, and then she was hungry. First, we'll put the angle is a little bit lower. There you go. It starts with, like, she's hungry. She goes to the kitchen, and then she pulls out some squid salad, and she is like, I don't know, squid salad, starts questioning it, and then for some reason she just, like, she freaking sends something in the group chat talking about, something squid salad, question mark, I don't know, a question about squid salad that I don't quite remember, but either way, I just found it very random. Like, the thing is, though, because, like, Kanade, she doesn't really have, like, any chemistry with the group. Like, even Mafu has more chemistry with the group than she does, but, like, because they just wanted to make it look like lighthearted and fun a little bit with like N25, but like Kanade has like no chemistry outside of like her mission of saving Mafiu and stuff like that, and wanting to help people with her music. So this just feels forced. Like, they just didn't know what to do. Like, that was like the major flaw in their story, and they're like, geez, I don't think Kanade usually engages in fun conversations like how Anna and Mizuki do. Like, even Mafiu was like, what are you talking about? It's just, like, they didn't know what they were doing. Like, they could have talked about anything, but like, out of nowhere, squid salad. Like, she just sends a message in the group chat talking about squid salad because she literally has like nothing else to talk about. It just goes to show that the group is, you know. Oh, and the next part that goes like probably like directly after the geez, my nose is super itchy. After wearing this mask, we check on VBS, right? And I know it was a joke, but An just straight up called Kohane Master. She just straight up called her Master. Dude, like, I could see a lot of fanfiction of that now. No. I can't believe they would write that. I know it was a joke, but I can't believe they wrote that. But back to the messy part. Starting with Ichika meeting Miku while she's shopping for CDs. I don't quite remember what happens after that scene, but one by one, or very few by very few, the characters, all 20 of them, discover this new Miku. I don't remember if Ichika told her friends about this new Miku, or, you know, maybe she has, cause like, maybe she has, cause like, there was like that one scene of Saki being like, don't worry Miku, we'll help you, and then just, I guess, hold her hand and stuff like that. It's in the trailers. They discover this new Miku, and, all I remember is Miku meeting Ichika, properly after her solo live, and that's when Miku asks for her help, I think. I'm not sure. I don't know, but Ichika and Miku develop some kind of bond closer to that of the other 19 characters, and while the other characters are having all of these shocked reactions upon seeing broken Miku, some of them are even still discovering her while the plot is moving forward, so I, as the audience, was confused on where to look. It's fine to have subplots, but normally plot A and plot B happen at the same time. But the plots here are A, Miku needs to help the distressed, and B, the Sekai characters are discovering this broken Miku. Maybe it's not subplots, maybe it's the main plot altogether, but it still felt like nothing was really happening. I feel like the movie just wanted you to laugh at all the characters' reactions when they see Miku for the first time, and otherwise paying the runtime. Because all of this goes on for an entire 1/4 of the film, by the way. And these people are literally acting like they don't have access to an entire digital dimension built from their feelings, where Hatsune Miku and the other Vocaloids serve as therapists for their problems. But another Miku, that's a shocker. The only defense I can think of is that it's another Miku that they've never seen before. But to be fair, the Mikus in their Sekai are completely different from the original. They've even said it themselves, which is a giveaway that their Mikus are not the only ones. In fact, they didn't even put a lot of thought into they didn't put a lot of thought into what the characters really thought of about Miku as a whole and stuff like that. They're just willing to accept any Miku at this point. They're like, you know what? There's our Sekai Miku. There's normal Miku. They know that there's other Mikus out there. It should not be a shocker. But putting all that aside, why did Miku approach the Sekai character specifically for help? According to that scene after Ichika's street performance, Miku was drawn to Ichika's song. Like, she wants to learn how to sing to reach people's hearts, just like Ichika did. But she's drawn to music. In that case, then she could have went to anybody who's a musician and who's singing a song or whatever. Surely the Sekai groups aren't the only music units in Tokyo, let alone Shibuya, so Miku could have approached anybody. What's so different about the Sekai characters? That they actually noticed and interacted with her? Again, anybody could have done that. And judging by the fact that she only approached the other groups as well, even though they probably haven't been singing or doing anything, I'm guessing she just sensed something about them. That they are a music group with strong feelings attached to their music, or maybe she just sensed that each of them have a Sekai, so the strong feelings in their music are guaranteed. But judging by Miku's reaction when she saw their Sekai and the other versions of her and stuff like that, she was either surprised by the looks of each Sekai, she didn't know that there were other Sekai out there, or both. For a movie that has excessive dialogue, it doesn't explain much. There was also this other scene of when they're like, wait, another Miku, and MT Sekai Mako was just like, well, it's not like it's surprising. She's just from another Sekai. I'm like, no, really? But I was also like, what do you mean it's not surprising? Do you know something, Mako? Do you know something we don't? And then I just had like a flashback to that one event from the game. It was one virtual singer event from the game that has something to do with cherry blossoms. Either way, it just has N25 Miku on the thumbnail. So like, yeah, they all are aware that there are other versions of themselves out there. So it shouldn't really be a shocker. But you know what? I don't know, man. It was just like the way those two Mikus interacted. They're like, oh, hey, who are you? I'm Miku. That's weird. I'm also Miku. And I'm like, you knew there were other Mikus out there. Well, actually, that wasn't my reaction. My main reaction was just, are we gonna go through this like 4 times? I guess what I'm trying to say is, what are the rules, damn it? Now the next section, the section that actually matters. Also, for a bookmark, Mizuki suggested a picnic when they all met in Empty Sekai with Broken Miku, but I'll get to that in a bit. Hopefully I don't forget, because I don't write it down for some reason. There was also a scene of Miku swimming in code to get to where she needs to go, which is an interesting take on how the virtual singers travel from Sekai to device, since the original game doesn't really care to explain it themselves, or show it. But the scene went on for way too long for me to even call it eye candy. It's like they tried so hard to rub Deep Sea Girl or Redial in your face. Even though, Redial is a W video, I can't believe it's 12 years old. It's like they just want to say, hey, reference! Anyway, I guess Miku just went to check on the distress before the picnic could even happen, and nothing memorable happens while the Sekai characters are off screen. Wow, they made Miku as forgettable as possible in her own movie, huh? But the next scene is when everyone helps Miku. They sing songs in front of her, and then they make her feel like a part of the team. There's an entire montage where there's even Gunjo Sanka playing in the back, which is the first anniversary song for Project Sekai. The montage was supposed to show them all bonding with Miku, but it felt cheap. Like, Gunjo Sanka is a song that makes me emotional, especially the Sekai version. It makes me cry almost every time I hear it. But when it played in the movie, I felt nothing. To me, it felt like the movie just wanted to force bonds and friendships just to get a reaction out of you. It was half-hearted. And I processed this when Coco paused the movie. Before she came back, when she came back, I said, and before you play it, there's like no depth, and when she paused it, it went away for a while. I saw the timeline, like we were like 45 minutes into the movie. We were like more than half an hour into the movie. We were like 35 minutes long into the movie. And that's when my optimism faded. Like, I didn't even try to act optimistic anymore. I just looked and I was like, wow, it's been nearly half an hour and nothing happened. They literally just it feels like they just spent like 35 minutes just trying to get a reaction out of us, while I just feel like nothing was happening, nothing meaningful was happening. And it just made me sad. That it felt like a waste of my time. I'm like, yep, I knew this movie I knew it was gonna be a waste of my time. But yeah, continuing on, I said there's no depth, and Coco said, yeah, but we knew this all along, didn't we? And we eventually had to watch the rest of it because we might as well, right? We saw that Miku was beginning to understand them all. Like, she took the concept slash reasoning behind each of the group's music and put it together. Also, speaking of the groups, Miku sang her song to them, and then they sang it with her. Probably the closest thing they had to a friendship, I suppose. I mean, Miku comments on it, saying that it's warm, but I'm gonna need more proof than that. That Miku can actually feel things. That these people are actually what she calls friends, something she didn't think she'd have. Miku kind of lacks dialogue. She doesn't really say anything unless it's about her voice not reaching people or her not knowing how to sing. But you'd think they spend a little more dialogue on her explaining these warm feelings and how unusual it is. Or like how grateful she is to experience something like this. I mean, it would be nice. I'd like something more than just it's warm, because right now it's not warm, it feels cold. As a result of it being forced. And now feeling confident, Miku goes to attempt to reach them with her voice. And then this scene plays. A girl's little sister walks into the room, into her room to go show her something. The girl yells at her and scares her off since she's in the middle of studying right now. And that's when Miku shows up and starts singing, and the girl can hear her, but Miku's voice is way too glitchy. This proves that only the distressed can't see or hear Miku properly, only those who are feeling better do. Oh great, this makes me rethink the entire thing. Why is Miku's existence only unknown to those who are feeling bad? I know I saw someone who appeared to be drawing Miku, so it's not like they forgot about her, but those are questions for later. Anyway, the girl got extremely pissed off and threw her phone at the wall. She then pulled her knees to her chest and mumbles how she wants to disappear. Miku pops up again, but only to recall all those times where she just made matters worse. So before visiting this kid, she met a lot of other people. She visited many other people. I used to call this the best scene in the movie because I thought this was a moment of self-awareness or relatability to Miku, since I thought Miku had like a fear of rejection. I mean, she hasn't been acknowledged by the one she's trying to help, and when she is, she's rejected. I thought we had a moment where Miku realizes that people just find her annoying, that doing the thing she was literally made for ends up having a negative effect on others. But she was just sad because her voice just didn't help them. Instead of my voice couldn't reach them, they should have had her say, but I thought, stuff like that. And that alone would speak volumes about how she's feeling right now, and the line isn't even that long. Anyway, Miku cries elsewhere, and her tears turn into fragments that rain down all over Shibuya. Why does this happen? I don't know. The Sekai characters catch one of the fragments, and they get teleported. Now, Robone just straight up said, intense emotions detected. And I thought she was talking about Miku, but nope, she was talking about those who were on the verge of giving up. Like the Sekai characters became floating, intangible beings. Sorry, I heard something. But yeah. Bro, it's our neighbors, bro. Like, the Sekai characters became floating, intangible beings, watching people throw their things away, lie their heads on desks, stuff like that. I think that people couldn't see nor hear the Sekai characters as well, so the Sekai characters felt useless in helping them. I thought of this just now. So the reason the leaders randomly said Miku's name is because now they know how useless she felt for so long, but that's just a theory. Still weird how they all said her name out of the blue without any transition into that thought. I don't know, it just didn't make any sense to me. Ichika yells Miku's name, so that's so wasted. So there's that wasted line. When I watched the trailers, I thought Ichika witnessed something happen to Miku before being teleported back to the real world. But after Ichika yelled, everyone was teleported to Broken Sekai, where Miku was. Miku asked them how they all got there, and I guess Miku didn't know that her tears would bring people here. I mean, all they have to do is touch it when it rains fragments, and they'll end up in her Sekai. Anybody can see it, so anybody could have had access to it. But only the Sekai characters came into contact with them. Also, I forgot to write this down, but this moment was also a wasted opportunity because Miku, she could see all of it. She could see like all of the groups, right? But they can't see each other because like they were on because each group was on like a different plane of existence. Like they can't see each other. which could have been a wasted opportunity because like they should have found out about each other's Sekai and stuff like that. That would have been great, but I guess they didn't do it because they didn't want to spoil what would happen if they all found out about each other's Sekais. Because this is a spin-off movie after all. It takes place in like an alternate universe, stuff like that. Anyway, they explain how they got there. Miku eventually explains that her Sekai is a place of abandoned dreams and goals, and that she's been alone here for so long maintaining it, even though the people she's been trying to help can't see her. So Miku's song has been falling on deaf ears for years. And only recently has she tried looking for help. I mean, she only had herself to depend on, and it was her who was keeping the Sekai stable for so long. But if she's been useless for assumingly years in helping them, then are these even the same people? Have they always been? I mean, I doubt it. If Miku's had no effect on these people, then she was doomed for failure from the start. Well, not quite, because she was close at one time. But that's because she's had a better understanding on music. I guess what I'm trying to say is there's something missing about Miku's core story, but I can't quite put my finger on it. I'm confused, I'm perplexed, I don't get it. She said, but yeah, she said that that she's trying to make sure that big thing in the center of Sekai doesn't burst. It looks like a cocoon or something wrapped in roots. I took it as like a heart or something like that because it reminds me of one. One of the Sekai characters asks what happens if it bursts, and Miku says that the entire Sekai will be swallowed in darkness. Moments after, what appears to be chain fragments begin surrounding Miku, and those hopeless voices she heard before begin playing again, like stuff like "I'm done for," "I give up," stuff like that. I will say, Miku trying to block her ears from the sound was kind of compelling. We don't exactly see this kind of struggle in the game on the VS's side, so it's kind of a good change. But then, like some kind of soap opera, all the leaders are telling Miku not to give up and that she can do it and that there's still hope, stuff like that. And then that was when Miku stood up from her knees, smiled, and said, "Everyone, thank you." And then this is the part where I was just like, as soon as she said "and" after "thank you," as soon as she said "thank you" and, I knew where this was going. And when she finally said farewell, I was like, "Yep, there we go." She said it in the same way too. She said she was like, "Arigato," stuff like that. Dude, like I caught that right away. And with a swing of her arm, she sent everybody back to the real world. When they all arrive, they are distraught. And although Kade was just looking and blinking like, "Oh, okay, that happened," stuff like that. Oh, no wait, we check on the groups one by one, and in between those moments, a jump scare occurred. All we see is the heart of broken Sekai bursting, and the darkness it held within was unleashed. It fell upon Miku and obscured her from the side of the viewer, so we could only assume the worst. It was a perfectly cut scene too. Like seriously, bro, it was just like, and just cut right there. All those in-between shots were just broken Sekai being flooded. And then we checked on the other Sekai, starting with School Sekai. The sky had a crack in it that grew bigger until the darkness bursted through and seized the school. It also invaded Stage Sekai, where the VS were running for their lives. Street Sekai tried to barricade the Crasse Cafe with tables and chairs, and Wonderland Sekai was literally running for their lives, and they legit made it like the most entertaining part of the entire film. Like the way they ran on rooftops, jumped on trains, through each other. This was the best scene. This was hands down the best scene in the movie. But when Wonderland Miku tried to jump on the train that Kaito was driving, she still ended up getting caught by the darkness. MT Sekai just stood there. Like, they just stood there. And they were all going to let the darkness engulf them. But it washed over them and only went for Miku, who didn't seem to care, by the way. She just stood there as she was surrounded and devoured. Like my girl just said. She didn't even care, bro. She just stood there. All that was seen was a turquoise bubble with a music note on it, but it shattered and outpoured dark chain fragments and turquoise dust. That's all that was left of her. Kaito commented on how Miku was the only one who was swallowed up, which, yeah, we all saw it. And the music disappeared. MT Sekai didn't seem all that devastated after literally witnessing their friend get killed off. But in a future scene, they're all just sitting near Miku's remains, which could have been sadder if the bonds between the VS were actually thoroughly explored. And it feels shallow anyway, since they're supposed to be reflections off of the characters. Okay, which fair is what I would say if the movie didn't expect us to resonate with the VS's pain of losing Miku. Trust me when I say that they would all have a much more emotional reaction if one of the Sekai characters disappeared like that. Let me tell you that they made this scene so intense that it literally gave Coco and I panic attacks. Like, maybe a semi-panic attack because we literally could not breathe, alright? I was shaking, like, dude, like, that actively scared me. But, they made that scene psychological as hell. It was like they knew that the first half of the movie was cheap and wanted to penetrate the feelings into you. So the climax was just insane. Coco and I literally had to stop the movie, alright? We literally just had to stop watching it. And we talked about what we just saw. I thought that experiencing these feelings meant that the movie was a good one. Like, I thought it had to mean that. So I said to Coco that I was wrong about this movie, that this is pure cinema. And Coco herself said that she thought this movie was going to be a flop, and even she was impressed. And that was what the movie wanted. They wanted our feelings to cloud our judgment. It was like they just said, as long as they feel something when Miku disappears, they don't even have to think about the first half, so don't even worry about it. Just goes to show how poor their writing skills are and what they think of their audience, but I'll get to that in a bit. To prove my point, you know how they did a reference to a certain song that's meant to predict the end of Vocaloid? And they went tooth and nail dramatizing that in the trailers, and they literally did as much as they could to shove all of that in your face. This next scene shows Miku floating in the darkness. She tries singing her song again, but the voices come back, and Miku descends into the abyss like this is Kingdom Hearts. One line of dialogue, "Are these the true feelings of the Sekai?" That's what she said. Which goes to show that she's willing to be erased for the distress. I guess she believes that this is the best thing to do. Now, I'm not sure if that's important or noteworthy or not. They didn't exactly make this climax a big enough deal if you look beneath the surface. Not only is Miku still able to move and sing and stuff like that, but we find out in a future scene that she's just been sleeping the entire time. Yeah, she's just been asleep for the next quarter of the film. She's not actually dead because that would be too unsafe. Nothing major happens because that would be too unsafe. There are no real dire consequences because that would be too unsafe. As for the real world, there's just a temporary power outage for God knows why. One can argue that that's because Miku's been using electricity for travel, but no matter how hard I think, that doesn't make sense to me. Because she was in Sekai when the darkness engulfed everything. She wasn't just in the middle of the electricity thing. She wasn't in the middle of traveling when she was hunted down. She was in Sekai. Cause like, I understand that a temporary outage would occur if like someone is traveling through like the wires and stuff like that, and then the connection is like interrupted and stuff like that, and it would just cause like a brief, That's my theory as to why Miku's appearance makes the lights flicker. If anything, the ability for the VS to travel to everyone's phones and for the Sekai characters to access Sekai should be affected, because the connection would be severed as a result of the Miku's being gone. One of my theories is that all Sekai, as virtual worlds, are connected somehow, and since they're made of something as fragile as feelings, the VS are there to sustain those feelings. They, as virtual beings, have a duty to keep the Sekai together. Whether they know each other or not, there are multiple versions of the VS, all with one duty. if one of them disappears, then all versions of that virtual singer disappear, because they all go by the same name, therefore the same identity, the same existence, stuff like that. That's why the erasure of one Miku led to the erasure of all Mikus. That's another one of my theories. So as a consequence of Miku being erased, Sekai should have been less stable. The VS should have either been completely unable to or have a really hard time visiting the other characters. And the Sekai character should have been entirely unable to visit Sekai, even though it's their feelings that make up the place. Did I predict the world building for this game? Because they didn't really explain why the virtual singers were there, other than, oh, we're just here to help. Now, they did hint every now and then that that the virtual singers are also made of the Sekai characters' feelings, and they're just there to help and stuff like that. But the thing is, they're not just there to help, they're literally just there to sustain the place. Like, you want to give them, a bigger reason to be there than, because I don't know what would be threatening. I don't know what the threat would be, if all Sekais were gone, but, whatever, mind. Maybe I'll say that. I'm not sure, man. Plot holes. Okay, I'll make this fast. The Sekai characters find out what happened to their Mikus, ask why it was just her, and it was not explained. Also, the Sekai characters become shocked when they find out that their Mikus were devoured. They get sad and worried, and considering that they mainly come to Sekai and the VS when they need something, their worry means nothing to me. They eventually come to the conclusion that they need to help the people broken Miku try to help with their music, which is fine for Leonid and VBS, but the other three groups were already spreading joy and hope with their music. I do kind of like the realistic take on the gist here, that if you try to handle so much negativity on your own, that it will swallow you up, but that's about it. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention something. So before the scene of Leonid coming to that conclusion of helping the people that Miku try to help, there was a brief scene of Ichika just navigating the internet and stuff like that, and here's another proof that they try to shove disappearance in your face. They literally had a freaking article named "The Disappearance of Hatsune Miku," and I'm like, oh, there it is. That's literally what I said during the call with Coco. Anyway, she clicked on it, and I don't think there were any English subtitles, but one of the comments said Hatsune Miku actually disappeared. So she goes to the internet, plays a Miku song, and there are no vocals in the song. It was just MV illustration, and then that's it. No vocals. And this freaks Ichika out. So she goes to her files and sees that all the Miku songs she had were just instrumentals, and she's clearly devastated by this. And so it's basically just letting the audience know that Miku's existence was just wiped, and it was never brought up again. Ichika didn't even tell her friends about it or anything. She just said, let's help Miku. I don't get it, bro. You think it'd be a bigger deal than that? It was just meant to be forgotten. Where was I? Dang. Oh yeah, here I was. The characters make absolute bangers. No, seriously, these songs are really good. And they went out, and they went all out on the visuals too, especially N25's. Thankfully, each of the songs were shortened. I thought they were going to play the full versions of each. Oh, and look at this. Their songs actually spread hope and healed the distressed. I heard that the reason why Miku's song wasn't working on others was because her song was incomplete. The movie never really explains why Miku thought singing an unfinished song was going to work. Maybe she was just stuck with it, but the movie doesn't explain. So I'm just going to say that Miku's attempts at helping others were just not good ones. I guess what I was trying to say before was that Miku kind of sucked at doing her job. Anyway, Miku woke up, and you would not believe the first thing she says. She says, "My voice had reached them." You didn't do anything. She didn't do anything, though. The Sekai characters did the heavy lifting while you were asleep. Good lord, I need water. But yeah, she sings her song, this time the complete version, and undergoes a transformation before flying out of the darkness and into the real world. I think. First of all, the song she sings, which is Hello Sekai, is just not good. It doesn't give the name of Sin, which is the main theme of Diva X. It doesn't give that. It doesn't give off it doesn't give off the vibe of any of PJ Sekai's theme songs. It doesn't really feel like any love or care was put into it. It was just recycled. It's different from Deco 27's I Kotoba series, because those were eras of Deco 27. That's what they were meant to represent. Kind of like anniversaries. This is the main theme of the movie, by the way, made by two talented artists, Deco 27 and Kemu. You can't tell me that the ones who made the song Sekai made this song. Other than the song's chorus being reused in it along with Journey's, it was lazy, it was unoriginal, and it was just sad. Speaking of which, 40MP and Sasakure.uk are also talented artists, but I don't know if they collabed before the making of The Future of the Beginning, the opening for this movie. You can clearly tell which composer did what part. It doesn't quite blend. It doesn't quite blend together, but that's just a small gripe I have with the song. Oh dang it! My dumbass put my book down. The track as a whole just sounds bland compared to the tracks made for the Sekai units. It's weird how the two tracks It's weird how the two Miku tracks in this movie had almost no compassion put into them. It legit sounds like neither of the artists cared when producing these songs. I need a breather. I didn't find any of these songs catchy, I didn't find them beautiful, I just didn't know what the heck I just heard. And that makes me sad, because I felt the exact opposite when I heard the Sekai unit songs. I heard the effort, I heard the care, I heard the love. But for the two Miku tracks, it just felt like they had to make something. Like, it just felt like, well, it's a Miku song, let's just move on to making Miku tracks, and they just didn't care. I don't know, man. Y'all have been a part of the Miku community for so long. And you've made absolute bangers. But like, now, carrying on, this part should have been Miku's moment, with her finally being acknowledged and her song reaching people. But again, it just didn't feel earned, because the reason her song even worked is because everybody was already cheered up, like they were already feeling better. The Sekai characters did Miku's job for her. That's like someone giving someone else advice, they go through with it, and then I come in, say the exact same advice, and pretend I helped them feel better, when I really didn't do anything. That's not helping. So all the Mikus come back, everyone's talking about how worried they are, which I've complained about. We've had a couple of nice moments, actually. Weirdly enough, like Kaito apologizing to Miku for not being able to save her, and Miku telling him that she's still okay and that there's no need to be sorry. I found that kind of sweet, actually. There's also another moment of when Ichika sees her Miku and immediately gives her a hug, and the rest of Leonie join in. It would have been a better scene if Miku showed some kind of reaction to this, because like normally neither of like the Mikus are used to being the center of attention or anything like that. So they don't really care if they're cared for or anything like that. It would have been nice if Miku was like surprised or something. But oh well, missed opportunity. Anyway, the tear fragments rained down on every Sekai, implying that unbroken Miku was probably crying tears of joy. Once again, the Sekai characters come into contact with it, and they warp there. And they meet up with Miku, but only for Miku to say that she's never giving up again. Weirdly written line, by the way. And to say her final goodbyes and thank yous. As Miku's crying, her voice begins breaking as she expresses how much she'll miss them. And up until now, Miku just sounded flat and lifeless. So they didn't care how she sounded until now, but everyone was sad to see Miku go. I've already spoke of my issue with that, and again, they all said thank you and farewell. Again, because they really wanted to rub that. The movie ends with the same shot as the beginning, with Leonid walking together. Okay, normally when the end of a movie does a callback to the beginning. It's meant to let the audience know just how far the protagonist had come and how different they are now compared to the beginning. It's also meant to let you know that the danger has passed and that everything is okay now. Here they did this because they wanted it to feel like a movie without understanding the exact reason movies even do that. But what changed in this movie? Like, what was the point of it? What did the characters learn? What growth did they undergo? What happened? And so finally the last scene shows someone entering the Unbroken Sekai, where Miku smiles and says that she's been waiting for them. For who? Those who make Vocaloid songs? Is this just a normal Sekai? Now, what is a normal Sekai? Is this just another group of individual artists? Okay, it probably is. I forgot to say, since the Sekai characters did Miku's job better than she did, shouldn't that cause some kind of existential crisis? Imagine being made for something and failing at it. That should cause some kind of crisis. I know Miku's just happy that everyone feels better, but still. I suppose it's not about that anymore, but what if it happens again? Will Miku just remember that there are others out there helping these people? She can't just wait for someone else to help them. That's just like in the real world when that's like in the real world where you know someone's depressed and you don't do anything about it because they're like, they'll receive help somehow. You can't just do that, especially since Miku was literally made to help people. She can't just sit there and watch someone else do her job for her when she knows that these people are suffering. I know she can't really do anything by herself, which is kind of ironic because, like, imagine not being able to exceed your purpose. That's just depressing. All I can say is that a lot of things can go wrong here, and Miku should have had way more self-awareness and a stronger character, because this is a movie after all, or is it? The movie truly ends with Unbroken Miku and the normal BS singing Hello Sekai together, and the graphics of the 3D MVs from the game. Performance ends, movie ends. And here's the thing, bro. I don't know what logo they put on screen before that ending performance. I think it was either the logo of the movie or the logo of Project Sekai Colorful Stage. But either way, Miku's just asking, "Hey, did you enjoy the film?" And I literally just said, "Nah." Here's the difference here, cause normally when it's like a Miku product or something like that, like for example, just recently Coco and I watched Magical Mirai 2025, and I literally cried because I was like, "This can't be the end. I can't believe it's over," stuff like that. I wanted to see more of it, but here I was just saying, is it done now? Is it over now? Like, are they done? Like, I just wanted the movie to end already. Yeah. The entire time as I was watching this movie, I wanted to have a good time. I wanted to believe that this movie was good. I forced myself to laugh at every single joke. I complimented on every little detail, or I tried to. I nearly cried at the end. Seriously, I did. Because the adrenaline was still there. But I woke up, I opened my eyes, and I saw the red flags. That of which I told you already. The plot holes, the cheap songs that Miku was given, and the extended screen time given to the Sekai characters. The misleading trailers, which eventually led to clickbait. A title as lazy as a Miku who can't sing. Like, they could have come up with anything better, bro. You wouldn't, like... They could have come up with, like, I don't know, a shattered sound, just a broken Miku. No, a broken Miku would be too. But like, if you literally just named, like, a title with something as ironic as a Miku who can't sing, it feels like an April Fool's joke. But, either way, they could have come up with a better title. Like, the Japanese version of the game of the movie was called A Broken Sekai and a Miku Who Can't Sing, and the English version just called it a Miku Who Can't Sing. Either way, they could have just renamed the entire thing. They could have just they could have done better. Because, like, if you compare that to, like, other titles from from the Sekai events, like say, like come on, bro. There's saying farewell to my fake persona. There's burn my soul, our happy ending, stuff like that. And then there's a Miku who can't sing. It's just lazy. And the false promise of a Miku-centered plot. Someone even said that the movie felt like a 2-hour ad for Colorful Stage, and now I can't unsee it. It makes sense now. I feel like I have witnessed an incomplete script and half-baked songs covered up by good animation and voice acting, not a movie. Not a lot of thought, actually, actually, very little thought was put into the making of this movie, specifically the plot. It barely has a plot, and so many things make no sense. I'm just gonna take you off. They covered it up with the fact that this is Vocaloid and a formula must be followed. But then they shouldn't have tried to make a movie if that was the case. The fact that they made this just proves that they can use their imagination, but they barely did. They used this Miku as an excuse to have their Sekai characters displayed on a big screen. That's it. That's what they wanted. Again, I knew this movie was going to flop, but I wanted to be wrong. This is one of those scenarios where I hate being right. I mean, did I actually think they were going to make a Miku movie? Yes, I did. I actually did think that they were going to make a Miku movie. I mean, that's what they promised, right? Come to find out that whoever made this film really didn't care. I'm pretty sure that most people were just happy to see their characters in the cinema. Which brings up what I think about these companies. They're just in it for profit. Well, actually, wait, I forgot to mention something. You know how before, thank God I didn't forget, by the way. You know how before I said that Mizuki suggested a picnic? They should have had a picnic. I was planning on making an animation about it. Let me know if you want to see it, because that would be another exception for my retirement from the Sekai thingy. Or I could just tell you right here, right now. It would give Miku a lot more lore, actually, because Miku, she doesn't really need to eat, and I'm assuming since N25 Miku was also there, she could help explain the scientifics behind being a virtual being. They don't really need to eat to function like how humans do. I guess they just need music or something like that, but I don't think they say that. So Miku hasn't really, I don't think she's eaten before, and even if she has, I mean, can she even taste anything? I don't know. It would be good to cover the specifics behind stuff like that. It would be good. It would be fine. And it would even maybe create, and a picnic alone would create some real bond between Miku and N25, and maybe they would do something special with the other. Maybe they would do something special with the other with the other 4 groups as well. But that would be too much to cram into one movie. 20 main characters plus 30-ish virtual singers. That's 50 characters in total. Not really. That is too much to cram into one movie. The cast is way too big. So yeah, it probably should have been a series instead. But yeah, that brings up what I think about these companies. They're just in it for profit. They said as long as it promotes our game, it doesn't matter if this movie is good or not. Or just shut up. Just make this so the crying and complaining Vocaloid fans can shut up about them not getting attention in the game. The way I see it, these companies will just dish out anything, sprinkle in a little something to get us all riled up and call it a day. They do anything for the money, even doing something as shitty as lying to their fans and making fake promises. In Sekai's case, it's just the old switcheroo. And it just sucks. I feel like a lab rat. I feel like a test subject in some way with this kind of treatment. The scams are the cage, the melodrama is the object put in the cage, and our reactions are the results of which they make money off of. in reality, following the abandonment of Project Diva, the cancellation of that Miku series that I've talked about before, and the poor marketing of the Vocaloids, it's like they're telling us straight to our face that we don't deserve nice things. So I'm done. I'm tired of waiting on a wish that's never coming. I will not be engaging with Project Sekai anymore. As for Vocaloid, I'll still make videos. My passion for Miku runs strong, so I'm not giving up on it. It all started on September of 2019, and not long compared to others, but long enough. It's still bad luck on my part though, because I fell in love with this franchise just enough to be devastated when the eventual downfall happens. I do have a pinch of faith that Diva will come back and that Vocaloid will be on its feet again, but I'm not gonna hold my breath because with these companies turning towards AI, like take the Disney situation for example, that's wishful thinking. And with that said, it probably won't make a difference, but I'll keep making Vocaloid content and other content too, so don't worry. And again, the negated voice will be the negated voice will be the only exception, and yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching through to the end. Thank you for joining me on this ride, actually. But let me know. I guess let me know what you guys think about the movie. Again, if you like the movie, if you like the game, I'm not. You guys are allowed to like whatever you like. Really, I'm just speaking how I feel about this movie, and that I'll just be quitting Sekai. Because well, it just breaks my heart, you know. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Today is March 28th, and which is an exact month from the time I recorded that. If I was being too harsh, I'm sorry. I didn't really. I don't mean to sound like I'm hating, but like the reason I'm hard on this franchise is because I know they can do better. I've seen it before, and that's what got me in the franchise in the first place. I but now they're just not even trying. I just I just want them to do better. God damn it.